Hello and welcome to Hidden Superpowers of Dynamo Part 2, Package Managers Assemble. I'm Toddy Hakopian. Let's get started. A little introduction. Today we'll be talking a lot about what is, superpowers and hidden gems of Dynamo in generative design, machine learning, web APIs, coding enhancements, core enhancements, visual twins, and much more. There's a lot of content. It'll be a little bit of a rapid fire pace, but don't worry, it's easy to digest. And there's a lot of resources, lots of links. Every slide I have has a link to more information, so don't feel like I'm missing anything out. And there's lots of references at the end. A little bit about me. I am Tade Hakopian. I have worked in design technologist and developer with HFC Architects in California, background in architecture, and I've had 10 years of experience in AEC, architecture, engineering, and construction with BIM and VDC workflows. And I've done a lot of course authoring and speaking for Dynamo, BIM, and coding content. So that's a little bit about me. And a little bit about me in Dynamo, a little about me in digital practice is HMC digital practice. We're always looking for new solutions to enhance the way our designers work in architecture. And Dynamo has been a big asset to us over the years, along with other computational design tools. So we're a big team that believes in the use of customization to get our work done. And a little bit about me in Dynamo is, a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I got bit by the Dynamo bug. And that kind of transformed me into a graph slinging Dynamo superhero myself. I love the software. I love the tools. I love what comes out of the community. So that's my origin story with Dynamo. It's just something that I keep coming back to. There's always something new. There's always something bigger in Dynamo. And that's been driving me and my usage of Dynamo for a long time now. So a review for part one. This is part two. So part one, previously on Dynamo Superpowers, pow, bang, zap. A big epic event was part one, and we learned a lot about the superpowers and the packages of Dynamo, and within Dynamo, the kind of abilities with coding and out-of-the-box features that you might not have realized was possible. Things like geographic information systems, maps, data science, external integrations of software, all sorts of amazing things that will blow your mind in Dynamo. So if you haven't checked it out already, watch Hidden Superpowers Part 1, conveniently located on Autodesk University. Link to the talk, deck, and video. And I'll catch you up on what was already discussed on Dynamo. So before we get started into all the hidden powers of packages, we'll talk about the new Dynamo powers. Dynamo has been upgraded for years and years. Every year there's been a bunch of new changes. It's an evolving software. And it's always surprising what comes next from the team. And the Dynamo core team releases the product that all other Dynamo versions, are based off of, whether it's a package manager, some other integration, or some inclusion to say Revit or Civil 3D. It all comes from the core Dynamo team. This is where everything begins. And a lot has changed from this core Dynamo team in a short amount of time, even since less than a year ago. So this is a chance to talk about what has happened. And the core team has introduced updates for the product itself for efficiency, documentation changes, and coding. These are really cool features that I think if you didn't hear about, I think it's a great chance to learn about now as a superpower. And one of the greatest things to me is the documentation browser from the Autodesk team. This is part of their release notes for adding custom documentation in your nodes. That's right, you no longer have to look it up online or find some arcane references. It's all in the nodes. You can include all the documentation of how a node works baked into the node with a sidebar and the extension to the right. Just right click and there it is, help. This is amazing. This is going to make everything so much easier to figure out what the node does if you already forgot or you made your own custom nodes. There's so much to be done here, and you can go crazy here. You can put all sorts of content on how to organize the node, how to use it with a custom node. This is something that I didn't even realize I needed, and this is an amazing superpower that the team has worked on. You can even use emoticons. It's astonishing. And if you're the kind of person who does your own code, your own nodes, your own documentation, you can take it straight from your text editor for coding and push it straight to the help node for the documentation. This is one of the most impressive upgrades I've seen just for convenience sake. So this is a great one. Another one is the ability to autocomplete and fill search engine information. It's an improved feature since over the years. It's always been something everybody's been interested in, getting a little bit better search engine. And so Dynamo's search engine is a lot more improved. So that's also another 2.12 release notes, another amazing superpower. But nothing quite reverberating as interesting as the core upgrade to Python. And we'll talk a lot about this later. It used to be Iron Python would be Python 2x. now we have the chance to use CPython 3x, and that increases a lot more things we're going to talk about a little later that you weren't able to do with Dynamo before. This is a huge upgrade. And just to let you know, IronPython, while it's good, it doesn't have near the capability of what CPython could do. And it only has a fraction of the ability of what CPython and Python 3x can do. And there's a whole migration assistant to help you change from the older version to a newer version you can check out in the release notes for 2.12. And we'll talk more about Python in a minute, but first, Dynamo and Refinery. The Refinery team and the Dynamo team have teamed up and created a core upgrade that really integrates Revit, Dynamo, and the Refinery generative design. It lets you use optioneering to find different ways to explore geometry and solutions to your design studies. Easy to use, easy to configure, and it's integrated Dynamo so you can get the most out of it. And there's a whole primer just on this. I highly recommend you check out. I linked it to this deck. You can do things that with Dynamo and generative design you didn't realize you could do before: view finding, space optimization, all sorts of opportunities. This has really evolved in the last few years, and it's just something that's underutilized, I think, because a lot of people could benefit from this, whether it's trying to find the right shape or trying to study the information in your model. You don't have to crank through everything yourself manually. If you know what you want, you can just tell Refinery with Dynamo to figure it out for you, plot some information, get some options, get some graphs, get some data, and help you more. This is an amazing power out of Dynamo. And here's an amazing 3-part mini-series by the Refinery and Dynamo team about how they used optioneering with generative design and Refinery Toolkit and Dynamo to find a COVID space occupancy analysis, which can be used for all sorts of other purposes. So I highly recommend checking this out if you want to learn more. So tons of great things out of the Dynamo core team. Let's talk about the package managers. And there's a lot of cool things. We're going to talk about each of these packages in a little bit and a cool superpower from each of them. And package managers to be like the Avengers. Like, these are guys who were like had their own kind of journeys. They get together and like work on cool products, sometimes together, sometimes they get inspiration from each other. And different groups have different kind of like personalities, put it that way. And we'll talk about the ones that give you more efficient packages, groups of teams that do more efficiency, groups of teams that do better for modeling, groups of teams that are new, that need a little bit of more attention, and groups of teams that are great for web development. So I'll talk about the expediters, the ones that help you get the work done quickly. And some of these are more popular, and we'll still go over them in a quick succession to figure out or to see what they're doing with their cool superpowers. One, Rhythm, John Pearson and Parallax. Great set of .NET packages for Dynamo. Cool superpower, align sheets. If you care nothing else about Rhythm, if you don't know anything about this, there's a ton of cool stuff, but the aligning sheets feature is amazing. I used to do this custom nodes myself. Once I realized Rhythm had it built in, I just started using Rhythm. Really amazing power. Highly recommend everybody check this one out. Next one is Bimorph. It extends Dynamo capabilities. It's from Thomas from the Bimorph team. They always finding new ways to upgrade their products and their nodes. So this is no exception. And one of my favorite abilities of Bimorph is linked elements. This is something I struggled with in the past. And linked elements, like I mentioned, so you can just take elements linked into your Revit model and use Dynamo to explore them, to copy them over, to get the data out of them. That's something very hard to do out of the box with Dynamo. It even just Revit. So this is amazing power. It makes a big difference. It's one of my favorite things about Bimorph. And they got data shapes. This is by Mustafa Ayubi. And Datashape has a ton of great things. A lot of these packages have a lot of overlap with things like efficiency, with how you can use Revit and Dynamo together. But the unique things about all of these, like Datashapes, is it can give you something other packages and Dynamo doesn't have. In this case, data. All these charts you see can be used with its Datashape packages and nodes to get data out of your model and put it into the sheets of your model as an image. Highly cool. But my favorite superpower is actually the Dynamaps portion of Datashapes. You can actually use online databases to extract data of real-world cities and urban environments, and then organize in Dynamo in layers, and then extract that and put that into Revit as a real topography. It's an amazing asset. It's one of my favorite things about this package, and it just looks cool. I just have fun playing around with it. It's so cool. That's an awesome feature from Datashapes. Then we got Clockwork. This is from Andreas Tickman and Bad Monkeys. It helps you work with list operations in Dynamo easier. And one of my favorite things about it is it actually automates setting work sets. Another headache I had that is addressed by this set of packages and nodes. little improvements like that I wish were easier to do, you can do with package managers and their nodes here. Real great tool. Again, tons of stuff within besides this, but this is a great superpower that I highly recommend everybody check out. And also associated with Bad Monkey's supergroup here is Dimitar Venkor. He created the Spring nodes, and that can really accelerate how you do BIM workflows with Dynamo and Revit. And one of my favorite things is flow opening by curves. This is something, again, I struggle with. There's ways you can do that natively with Dynamo out of the box, but this set of nodes with the Spring nodes really helps accelerate that. So that's a cool, outstanding superpower of this node package. And of course, Archilab, Konrad Soban and his team there. Lots of great features in Archilab, hundreds of integrations with API and the Revit API and Dynamo, very learned study. And one of my favorite superpowers of Archilab is that they just have more superpowers. This is great. They have the Manta Strip, Mandrill for data, BIMbeats, Bumblebee. They may not all be integrated with Archilab, but the Archilab team supports all of this. They have a lot of great projects that either go with Archilab, go with Dynamo, or are on their own. So they're always releasing new things. They're always evolving their game. I highly recommend you check out their products. And another group, we saw the Expediters, now we got the Shapeshifters, who help you model and find geometry in ways that you might not be able to do with any other set of tools. It's always great to find the efficiencies in modeling, and this is these are really great tools for that. One is DynaShape by Longwin. It's a way to find constraint-based form finding, for example, catenary shapes that might be really hard to do with BIM software like Revit. So this is a great package that you can check out with Dynamo. And one of my favorite things here is it supports folding. I never seen anything else do this as fluidly as DynaShapes and Dynamo. So if you're into this world of trying to explore and find shapes, this is the package for you. Very neat, very awesome. Lots of room to be creative here. And you can also team up and use things of Refinery and DataShapes or DynaShapes. You can combine packages and different resources together, get more efficient results. So don't feel like you have to use them all separately. There's lots of crossover possibilities here, and that's where the two superpowers and really shine in Dynamo. Another great shape-shifting power is TopoloGic. It helps you build lightweight models with topologic geometry to help you study the geometry of models. Sometimes BIM models and Dynamo models can be pretty heavy weighted. This is by Wasim Jabi and the TopoloGic team. Really cool tool. And because you can make lightweight geometry from it, you can do very rapid energy analysis. That's becoming a bigger part of the design world. So this is great if you want to use this superpower to study your energy models. Highly recommend checking this out. Then we got the Youngbloods. These are packages that have been around, maybe not for a long time, or maybe not being paid attention to enough. So I want to give a little bit of attention to these packages that are real diamonds, real gems. One is MEP Over by Taco Power, and all it does is just help you do computational modeling for MEP components. Something that people in that world need a little bit of love in: mechanical, electrical, HVAC, you name it. In this example, we're just doing pipe fitting. This is something that is just a joy for anybody working in that world of working with equipment in Dynamo and Revit. So highly recommend checking it out if you need some MEP problem solving. And in that regard, if you want the same kind of thing for rebar, there's something by Peter Kamal called Reinforcement Package. It's another package that helps you use rebar and use Dynamo to help rebar model in Revit. And a cool power here is you could just, with Dynamo Player, click on the objects you're trying to add rebar to. As long as everything is set up correctly in a Dynamo graph, as long as your components are there in Revit, in one click, you can add as much all the correct rebar you want into one object at a time. So it's very cool, very good way of showing on one hand you can use structural and rebar modeling in Revit. That's a lot of work being done in BIM models today. That's an excellent boost and superpower. And of course, Crumble package, which has a lot of automation scripts for day-to-day work. This is a very new package by Aussie BIM Guru, also known as Gavin Crump, where the name comes from. Lots of custom nodes with Python, so they're easy to modify if you want to. And one of my favorite things about this, besides its just general utilizations, is you can send emails once you're done with the Dynamo script that takes a minute to run. They could take a little bit of time depending on how much work you're doing in them. You can use this set of nodes to let you know it's finished, send an email to you, and give you a heads up. So that's very cool, and that very underutilized feature in Dynamo is things you could do with automations effectively through the web. But meanwhile, on the internet, there's a lot more power and potential to be unlocked here, a lot more connections. There could be sinister things, but also great things on the web. So if you know what you're doing, you can use something like the Dyna Web Package by Alberto Tono that can help you connect to all sorts of resources and services online through web APIs that can be used as nodes in Dynamo with JSON nodes, what have you. Lots of great resources there. And, this is becoming more common. Lots of sort of databases and tracking systems online, like Airtable and Notion, can communicate to something you're doing in Revit, tracking changes, tracking updates, tracking different aspects of the model, and even things like as simple as Google Sheets and Forms. This is becoming more and more common as people get comfortable with web databases, web tools, and you need a way to communicate between Revit software and other Autodesk software and Dynamo is a great interlocutor. So something like a Dyna Web Package is a great place to get that kind of support. So I highly recommend checking that out. And stay tuned. I think a lot more is going to grow in the world of web and Dynamo. So it's really a matter of just customizing things and learning more about the web environment. That's what I'm doing. Okay. Talk about extensions for a minute. Extensions aren't just packages. They extend what you can do in Dynamo. They're like little tools you add within Dynamo, but also add-ins you can do for Revit and different kinds of integrations. And they really expand and stretch in all sorts of different ways the possibilities. Things that would be nice to have in Dynamo, but you may not have. So we talk about view extensions in Dynamo, add-ins for Revit, integrations outside of Revit and Dynamo, and even going beyond BIM. Talk about what that's possible like. And the extensions we're going to look at today are going to be things that you didn't realize you could do, but it's a whole team of different tools that can help you Dynamo. For instance, data shapes, again, from Mostafa and data shapes team. This is great in case the Dynamo player built into Revit isn't quite enough, doesn't have enough features, doesn't have enough sophistication, doesn't have enough reporting integrations. Data shapes multi-input UI player is a great upgrade to the Dynamo player. I highly recommend anybody who wants something a little more robust in the Dynamo player for Revit, for people who aren't comfortable using Dynamo in your office. This is a great way to not only give them more feature-rich user interfaces, but also give you more control over the scripts you're running. So this is a great extension for Dynamo player. And then Monocle, this is one of my favorite ones. It just helps you organize your graphs. Sometimes they're a complete mess. I can't stand spaghetti graph looking code. It's a real mess. So this makes it easier to maintain by simply just using a bucket of tools to help you color things and group things and just align text and all that. Dynamo core team, wink wink, take a little bit of inspiration from this. I think it'll be a big benefit to everybody using the software. So shout out to John Pearson for this one. And DynaHub, this is really cool. If you're using GitHub at all for your Dynamo script tracking, which I do, this is a built-in feature or built-in extension you could use to log into Dynamo or log into your GitHub repo through Dynamo, so you know exactly the last time you're working on certain scripts, where they are and how they're tracked. Real great feature. If you don't know a lot about this, there's an Autodesk University talk about DynaHub. They can look up and learn all about it. It's a really great tool. I love using this one. And this is what I call the Suicide Squad, which are the people who are like doing cross-platform support. They're on a make or break mission. So there's a lot of great stuff here we'll talk about. One of them is Speckle. Speckle is great for interoperability, automation, and collaboration through all sorts of different platforms and support. They've been really growing this service over the years. And one of my favorite things about it recently is just how you can use something like Dynamo and a CSV file, for example, from Excel, or in Dynamo and anything with the Excel spreadsheet to create geometry. This is like the future to me, is like reduce friction between different geometric formats as things become a lot more fluid between project teams and how they work. You want common points of collaboration. This is a great way to do it, is to have something like Speckle that can just move the geometry XYZ points along, the data along very quickly. So it's a very cool feature from Speckle. Then you got Hypar. My company, HMC, uses this for a couple of custom graphs or custom integrations we've been using. And it just uses algorithms to generate and visualize buildings to make your decisions easier. It doesn't replace the designer. It just makes it easier for you to work with. There's a lot of great information online about Hypar and how they integrate, not just Dynamo, but lots of other services. They create your own custom apps without having to be, fully build out your own app creation. And then you got TestFit, a very cool tool. A lot of people have heard about this. It helps you extend capabilities in how you model by automating a lot of the constraint-based modeling of a building. Again, doesn't replace the designer, it just helps you see the options ahead of you. And there's a whole integration with Dynamo they can use with Dynamo nodes that if you want to bring in the geometry from TestFit into Revit through Dynamo, that can control the elements, the work sets, and everything. And it's all possible. So they've already provided a lot of integrations to make it easy if that's something you want to try out here. It's all available. And another one, Core Studio Swarm, cross-platform support. Again, expand model geometry with cloud-based services. This is very neat. It's its own kind of hosted platform. So all you have to do is put your geometry in and start working on it. Very cool by the Thornton Tomasetti Core Studio team. This might be up your alley if you're looking for something that can work online very quickly. And for add-ins in Revit, there's one cool one that works directly with Dynamo, which is Nonica. It launches scripts directly from Revit and with the script library. So if the Dynamo player is just not doing it for you and you only need a handful of scripts to run, Notica is a great new tool to try that out. Again, there's a free version. Check that out. It's an amazing ability. And if anybody wants to evolve beyond Dynamo and just make your own software, but you don't like to use C# or .NET, may I mention PyRevit as an option. It's an add-in. It's popular. Make your own custom tools. If you're already familiar with Python and you know how to use a Dynamo script with Python, this might be for you. So these are great service and extensions you can use already with Revit and Dynamo. Next evolution, so to speak. And the wider world out there, there's lots of low-code and no-code options and web integrations. Unity and Unreal have something similar to Node-RED for the web. And Autodesk Forge, while it is a web stack, can potentially integrate with all of this. So this is the broader scope of what's possible once you start really learning your stack here. I'll leave that here for now. This might be the next iteration of Hidden Superpowers. Who knows? Things are moving so fast. Okay, well, let's talk about the future. And what does the future hold? Well, it could be bad or good. We're not sure yet, but I'm hoping for good. I think a lot of things we've been seeing in the evolution of Dynamo and the package community and the extension community and the BIM community has been really amazing over the years. So I'm looking forward to more growth in Dynamo, data science capabilities, and beyond all this. Let's talk about that a little bit. Currently, Dynamo is going inside everything. It's going inside all the Autodesk platforms. I think it's only going to increase. Remember, there's the Dynamo product, and then every product team for Revit, Inventor, Autodesk, whatever, they can make their own and integrate it themselves. And you can make it yourself too if you want to put it into your own custom software. It's totally up to you. So there's already integrations for a lot of different softwares like Foreman and Steel and Civil 3D and Alias at this point. So it's only going to grow. But what I see as the biggest growth base is customization and coding. The Python extension support that Dynamo is continuing to provide is going to be a great way to use that tool moving forward. And Python's greatest strength itself, its greatest superpower that you can unlock is its own user-supported open source community of packages and libraries. And amongst them, things that help you do machine learning, data science, web scraping, you name it. That's Python's greatest ability. It's PyTorch, scikit-learn, TensorFlow, NumPy, you name it. This is Python's like amazing channel powers that now Dynamo could tap into. And data science on its own is just releases so much more potential. This is a simple, geometric grid that you can actually do something similar with Python. This is one example by Dalton Goodwin, the BIM coordinator. I have a video linking to this example he created using Dynamo, Python, Jupyter, some data science, very easy to follow. This is the next evolution to me of where Dynamo and Python and BIM is going, is to really expand beyond the kind of platform software we have into the open source world of data science. And I think machine learning is definitely coming up next because Mr. Amor here from the Dynamo core team is looking into using machine learning nodes. That's right, in Dynamo. So that's it. I have the documentation and receipts right there in front of you to show what's happening. And there's going to be some, I'm sure we're going to hear more about this in the coming weeks and months. And once you get into machine learning, it's an open door. Machine learning is just a way of analyzing data and using it to predict future behaviors. You put data in, you can find patterns in the data with the machine learning software, and then predicts rules and relations. This could be a big boon to helping you create a history of design implementations from many, many different models, or finding the best way of organizing your equipment in a space. It's all possible through machine learning. It's kind of useful for anything. That's how you can get search results kind of predicted for you in your search bar when you go to Google. So Revit can finally think, and this is a fun little meme. If you guys don't know, it's from Invincible TV series. Highly recommend it. So this is really cool. You can finally use something like machine learning and potentially AI to help do your best work in Revit. And machine learning is going to be everywhere. Everybody uses it for everything. So Dynamo is not going to be any exception. You can check out more information here on a link and a little chart diagram of deep learning. Not going to get into that now, but there's a lot of possibilities here. And perhaps even eventually digital twins and IoT. Autodesk just released Tandem. Is there integration with directly to Tandem and Dynamo? Not yet. I don't think so, but we'll see, because it's all BIM based and it's all going to be for things of facility management, facility integrations that I think Dynamo could play a big part of, because a lot of this is based on your core BIM model. So stay tuned for that. To be continued, I guess. But there's a lot of things coming up. You don't have to wait. You could be, there's an open source community around Dynamo. Dynamo is an open source community itself. It's available to anybody to work with. You can get involved with it, and you can learn more on the open source progress they have out on the blog posts. You can all be a part of the Dynamo team. And here's just one roadmap showing what they're going to improve with UX and miscellaneous tools and package management and documentation. There's a ton of stuff. Highly recommend checking out what's going on in the Dynamo blogs. And some takeaways. Where to go next? I think I overwhelmed a few of you with all the crazy stories and powers and teams and abilities that Dynamo and everything around Dynamo BIM has had. So I'll give you some sense of where to start, the communities you can join, and learning resources. That's kind of where I got my interest peaked, was through that. I was like, where do I start? Years and years ago. So this is where to go. And I'd say if you want documentation on learning resources, go to the Dynamo Primer. It's probably the best place to just start learning how Dynamo works, what's in it, the basics, if you don't know any better, or if you just want a refresher or show other people in your company, in your team, how it works. Cannot do any better or worse than Dynamo Primer. It's a great one-stop shop. It's a great source of documentation, and you get actual code samples there. So highly recommend checking it out. And if you're a little more savvy, you can actually go get a build of Dynamo, the actual Dynamo code, download it, use it, and create your own Dynamo copy if you want, or experiment with it if you want to make your own packages. And it's all on GitHub. All links are right here. You can take the power into your own hands. And shout out to everybody who supports the community, whether you're a package manager or not. Keen, Belinda, Sol, Jacob, Dana, Jeremy, John, Sean, and the BIM Girl. You guys, and this is just a small selection because I can only fit so many faces on one slide. There's many more out there. I've learned a lot from your videos on YouTube, your webinars, your Twitter posts, your blog posts, you name it. You guys have been a great resource for me to learn. It's great that you guys keep pushing the community along and donating your time for that. So I appreciate all of you, and shout out to everybody in the Dynamo community, no matter what you do and who you help. It's been like one of my favorite communities out there. It's always fun. Everybody's enthusiastic. Nobody's cynical. Everybody helps each other out. So, kudos to everybody in the community. And I would recommend anybody who's even half curious, maybe they just want to see what's in there, join the Dynamo Core, join the Dynamo community. There's a BIM forum for Dynamo, the Dynamo BIM forum. There's Autodesk user groups worldwide to check out. You can go to the GitHub site for Dynamo and submit issues and product feature requests you want to see. You can go to Autodesk Dojos. There's all sorts of ways to communicate, connect and communicate to the Autodesk community in Dynamo, computational design, you name it. It's all there available for you right now. And it's all free. So that's what I got to say. Just join the community, be part of the solution, be part of the movement in the right direction. I think this is the kind of open source, open standard, agnostic kind of way everybody wants to work is going to be through not just Dynamo, but things like Dynamo, low code, user driven, open source, community driven decisions. So this is something I recommend anybody who has any interest in this moving forward in any field whatsoever related to it to join and learn a little bit more about. Great community. Here's some references for open source packages that you can check out on Notion. There's a whole list of them. If you, not just the ones I showed you today, but the whole list of them. How to learn Dynamo BIM, packages directory to find more packages, Dynamo dictionary, developer resources, Dynamo blog. It's all awesome stuff, as you can see with my little screenshot down there. There's tons of stuff out there in Dynamo. I only gave you a small sampling of the superpowers. There's a whole multi-universe of amazing things going on in Dynamo, so don't miss out. And that's it for me, guys. This is my contact information. I'm at Tadej Hakopian, Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub. And you can check out HPC Architecture if you want to learn more HPC architects. And thanks so much for having me on this talk and listen to my talk. It's great. Reach out to me if any questions. Reach out to everybody I mentioned. Lots of links to their slides and context. And until next time, the power is yours.